for stopping by and seeing what I'm up to. My name is Silkyfeather, and you can call me Silky. So, we are starting our audio book club. And I believe we are going to start with this book, which is called Let Him Chase You. And we're going to do the 30 minutes. So, here we go. Oh, goodness.
Chapter 2. My pressuring women to get married and
Very, 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 very sorry. Here we go.
This is Audible.
Let Him Chase You, a simple guide for women who want both long-lasting love and respect in their relationships with men, by L. Len Gilliard. Let Him Chase You is published by VNUT Publishing. It's available at lethimchaseyou.com. Copyright 2013, L. Len Gilliard, all rights reserved. Narrated by L. Len Gilliard. Eve's story. 15 days have gone by since their first date. 3 days have gone by since he last called or texted her. 7 days have gone by since he last set up a date with her. And it just so happens that 7 days have gone by since they first had sex. Finally, on the 8th day of sitting by quietly, waiting for a date invitation, Eve decides to break down and call him. I just don't think I'm ready for anything serious right now. I'm not ready to date. Insert other excuse, Thomas says when she asks him what's going on. We can still hang out sometimes, though. Eve and Thomas have sex a couple more times. That's what he really meant by hanging out, after all. Then he completely ghosts her. No replies, no contact. 5 weeks later, Eve finds out through Facebook that Thomas is in a relationship with another girl he just met. Why did Thomas make the other girl his girlfriend after a very short period of time, but only thought Eve was fit to be his friends with benefits? Keep reading this guide to find out exactly why, and how you can avoid being treated like Eve in the future. Intro. A man's hierarchy of desires and needs in a woman are as follows: a looker, a lover, a supporter who believes in him, a friend and confidant. A woman's hierarchy of desires and needs in a man are a protector, a provider, a looker, lover, a friend, and confidant. In that order. Why I'm writing this guide. A lot of relationship experts teach women how to catch a man as if he is the prize, and you as the woman should be the pursuer. Therein lies a lot of the dysfunction and confusion that many women and men have when it comes to dating and relationships today. The roles are all screwed up. Men are by nature supposed to be the chasers in heterosexual relationships. To be clear, I am not a relationship expert. I am just a very attentive observer who studies human relationships and interactions daily. I have unfortunately seen plenty of relationships go sour. I've seen a lot of my woman friends get played, pumped and dumped, which means to be used for sex and then dumped or ignored, and used up by men in other ways. And of course, I have experienced the same things. It's pretty obvious why these things happen, but sometimes we women don't want to own up to our own roles in the situations. We just place blame on the guy for being a jerk. And yeah, he is a jerk for taking advantage of you with no intention of going much further with you. But if the same thing happens again and again and again with different guys, some self-reflection is in order. This was my story for a long time. I threw pity parties whenever a man suddenly and unexpectedly exited from my life. I was angry at the guy for letting me down, but I didn't want to own up to my own role in what transpired. Stay tuned for a few juicy stories from my past, and yes, I will be spilling a little bit of tea. It's all about choices, the choices we make as women, choices in how we proceed or if we proceed with a relationship, choices in how we act and react while dating, and also the type of men we choose to deal with in the first place. While I'm not currently married and now taking my sweet, sweet time before going down that road again, I was engaged to be married to an awesome man at one point who unfortunately passed away. We had some major challenges in our relationship in the beginning, but we overcame them and eventually bonded. He was deeply in love with me and I him. I do know what it takes to get a man to fall for you to the point where he wants you to walk down the aisle toward him. After a number of dating failures, I finally discovered a number of revelations that have completely changed my perspective about men and dating. I am now successfully dating again, all on my own terms, and confident that my next life partner or soulmate is going to walk into my life exactly at the right time. That's a big change from being curled up in my bed, depressed, and having pity parties because I thought no one cared about me. As soon as I began implementing the ideas that I lay out in this book into my dating life, I noticed that men began to flock around me. I became the chooser instead of feeling as if I needed to work harder to get chosen. I'm writing this guide now because I'm very concerned about the relations between heterosexual men and women. The new trend is to find a friends with benefits and pretend that your feelings and emotions don't really matter on a day-to-day basis. I call BS on the idea of friends with benefits, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. It seems that there is more and more of a bitter divide between men and women, but I believe it is fixable. The marriage rate is declining across the board, which some think is just a sign of progression or evolution. I think it is actually just a sign of more people being disconnected from each other. Negative past experiences and anger are holding us back from finding honest, secure, unconditional, peaceful love with each other. The keys to overcoming this bitter divide are as follows. Understand what you may be doing wrong in your relationships and the dating process. Learn to love yourself truly and fully. Accept responsibility for your poor life choices instead of continuing to point the finger at others. And finally, make better choices in mates and in the way you deal with them in the future. This advice goes for both sexes, but this guide specifically addresses women and dating. Self-esteem in dating. I expand on this more later on in this guide, but I believe that a lot of the crap that women put up with in relationships and friends with benefit situations is simply due to a lack of self-esteem and self-love. We don't think that we're enough. We don't think that we deserve a real relationship. We don't think that anyone could ever really love us. But once you overcome these negative thoughts, the world opens up to you, not just in dating, but everything in life. When you truly believe in yourself and the power of your womanhood, everyone else starts to believe it too. Self-love is the very first step to a real love-filled relationship with another person. You're single because you do stupid things. Don't be offended. I'm not saying you're a dumb person. My definition of stupid is simply this: having an idea of what is the right way to do something, but still choosing to do the opposite. Usually it is due to ignorance, arrogance, brainwashing, insecurity, or fear. There is an imbalance when it comes to relationships between men and women. Bottom line, a lot of women have given men all of their power. The media is partly to blame for pressuring women to get married and making them feel less womanly if they don't have a man and 2.5 kids. On the other hand, men prioritize other goals, like pursuing a successful career and adventuring through life. Men also have a lot of power over women because too many women are simply too emotional, too soon, when it comes to love and relationships. We give too much, sometimes everything, but don't demand much in return. Many women are desperate for the attention of men, but most men are not as openly desirable of the attention of women. The result is a generation of men who don't feel that they have to do much to get and keep a woman. I've observed that the power imbalance is starting to shift a bit as more women are starting to make more money, prioritize their careers, and focus on bettering themselves. But there are still a lot of women out there who seem to be very confused about men. The main issue is that women must set stricter boundaries when dealing with men. We can have a relationship while maintaining our dignity and self-respect in the process. I love men, and I also know that some of them will take what they're offered without feeling any obligation to give anything in return. So if you're offering up sex, attention, home-cooked meals, wifely deeds, and your whole heart without first demanding what you want, you can't be surprised when the guy takes it all and runs. You're reading this book because you're tired of being a friends with benefits. You're tired of being pumped and dumped. You don't want to wake up one day at age 70 hoping that your occasional booty call at the senior home will text you. You want love and the undivided attention of one man who desires you so strongly that he wants to marry you one day.
And that's where we're going to pause for today. Thank you so much for stopping by and seeing what I'm up to. This again was by Lynn Gilliard. That's GILLIARD and Let Him Chase You is the title of the book. We can't see it, can ya? That's what it looks like. Alright, guys. Stay safe. Be kind to one another. This is Silky signing off.